Hey guys, welcome to Practical Home Projects. So today I want to share our experience using a rope saw to cut branches that are high up in a tree. So we tried the rope saw in a bunch of different situations, and we have some situations where it worked really well, and then some other situations where you want to find an alternative. This kit comes with 2 ropes, comes with an empty pouch to put a weight in, it comes with 2 handle straps, it comes with 1 locking carabiner and 4 links, and it comes with a double-sided 48-inch chain. The setup for this kit is pretty intuitive. I found the links to be pretty helpful, especially when I need to attach and reattach things, and I made sure to put the big detachable carabiner on the weight. Since the red rope is only about 23 feet long, whenever I wanted to hit any branches that were a little bit taller than that, I just put both of the red ropes on the same side of the chain, and then I used my own rope on the other side. I like the red rope because it's nice and slick and it won't catch on the tree bark. Winter is the best time of year to do this branch cutting while those trees are still dormant. Now let's get to it. You don't want to be standing right underneath the tree branch, but you also want to be close enough so that you can maximize the height that you can throw the weight. So I'll stand just a couple of steps back and then throw it as high as I can, but making sure that the weight has enough forward momentum to make it over the tree branch. Before I even start throwing, I'll make sure that the rope is just loosely coiled up there on the ground. That way whenever I go to throw it, it won't get caught on anything. I'll grip the rope maybe 3 feet away from the weight, swing it around, and then when I do release, I'll make sure to release both my hands at the same time, obviously, so I don't yank it back. Most of the time, after the weight went over the correct branch, the rope sort of snagged on the tree bark, and I had to sort of use a whipping motion to help lower the weight slowly down on the correct side. I found that it's very helpful to have a lot of extra rope and extra slack to be able to help with that. If that doesn't work, then you can always resort to, using a pole with a hook on the end, or using a ladder, or even trying to throw a lasso rope up there to grab the weight down. These handles came with the kit, and you're going to want to be able to use these handles in the middle of a rope when you're getting ready to do the sawing motion. The way that we found to attach them is to make a small loop and then tuck it through the small part of the handle itself. Then pull the handle through that loop you just made and then pull it tight. So now you have this soft webbed piece that you can use to do your sawing. I'm not sure how durable this is going to be, and it might slide a little bit. Another trick you can use is to tie a cool knot called the Alpine Butterfly. So that knot's designed to be tied in the middle of the rope. You do 1, 2 twists, and then wrap it around, and then you're going to have a little hole that you made there in the middle, and you're going to pull your loop through that hole, and then you're going to pull it tight, and you're also going to have a non-slip knot, and you can use that as your handle and then just untie it when you're done. When it comes to the actual sawing portion, it helps to have a second person for a couple of reasons. The first is that you can each stand pretty far away from the tree branch so that when it does fall, it doesn't land anywhere near you. The second is that you can, of course, just share the burden of having to do all that physical labor. And then the third is that if you have 2 people standing reasonably far apart, then the chain is much less likely to bind in the tree branch, which can be a major issue when you're cutting it by yourself. When sawing by yourself, it's relatively easy to cut through smaller branches that are maybe 1 inch in diameter or so. However, larger branches can be a lot trickier. You'll see in this picture right here that while I'm sawing, the chain is wrapped around the branch, so part of it's above and part of it's underneath the branch itself. And as a branch gets weaker and weaker, it's actually going to pinch on the chain itself on the underside, and then it's really difficult to free that chain loose. So it's best to not get yourself in this predicament in the first place, but if you do, then you have to find an alternate way to either remove the branch or jerk that chain free. To start with, we just used the kit as it was to cut these branches. The kit came with this fabric pouch, and I filled that with about 1 pound of gravel. I found that it's important for it to be at least 1 pound in order to get enough inertia to get it up over the tree branches. You can tell that this pouch itself is starting to wear down, and that's after cutting maybe 20 tree branches. You can also see that there's holes kind of right where this grommet is, and I honestly think that this grommet's probably going to tear out by the next season, so I need to come up with an alternative. One thing I tried was tying a monkey's fist around a golf ball. I think this concept works, and I was able to use this to get over some lower branches, but it's not heavy enough to get over some of the higher branches, so I probably couldn't reach anything over 15 feet or so. So I think I'm going to try, a rock or a block of wood or something next time. I thought that this rope saw kit was very handy. It worked really well in situations where the branches were less than 30 feet off the ground and they were pretty small in diameter, and there wasn't anything below that I was worried about getting damaged. However, I really was surprised by how long it took to cut through some of those thicker diameter branches. So I would probably call in a professional if I needed to cut through several of those big branches, especially if there's anything below them that could get damaged, and especially if any of the branches are really high up off the ground, because you just can't reach those with the rope saw. So you need some kind of alternative. After cutting all those tree branches, we ended up with a ton of firewood. It'll last us the whole summer. So if when you guys are out there cutting tree branches, don't forget to be safe, and I hope you found this useful. If you did, we would appreciate a like and subscribe, and then if you have any suggestions, put that down in the comments section below. Thanks, guys.